Yeah. Don't wanna be a player. I don't wanna be playing no more. I'm not a player, I just crush a lot.
All right, speaking with GM Ruben Amaro Jr. Ruben, let's talk about the excitement level in the organization for a chance to repeat for the Lakewood Blue Claws in the South Atlantic League.
Well, it's neat for the organization, but it's neat for the kids, more importantly, to be able to play in this type of an atmosphere. And for the fans, you know, it's nice to be able to provide this kind of entertainment for the fans, but, you know, we're trying to develop Major League players, and I think more importantly, winning Major League players, and to be able to have them play in this type of an atmosphere, it's a great learning experience for them.
Overall, what do you think the level of success this season with a lot of the minor leaguers has been?
Well, we've been fortunate, especially at the lower minor leagues, and it bodes well for the people in our scouting and also our player development. You know, we've got GCL Club who won the championship in Clearwater. We've had, and then obviously in Williamsport, we missed it by half a game getting into the playoffs there, which is nice. It was a competitive, very, very competitive and contending season for them, and then here, obviously, they played very, very well, had an extraordinary season. So it bodes well for winning means something, but development means more, and talent means more. And I think that at the very least, you know, we have a bright future with many of the young players that are playing at all these levels.
Brian Gump's the guy here with the club right now with Lakewood. He was here with their title run last year. Spent some time rehabbing with Gulf Coast League. If he wins another one here with the Blue Claws, we might have to start calling Brian Gump the Jewelry Man. What do you think about that?
Yeah, Brian had a tough year, obviously with his with injury, but it's nice to have a kind of a veteran guy who's been through it, be around these guys too. But there's an excitement created with some young, energetic players, and you know, benefiting from being on winning teams. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't mind back-to-backers. So
sure. But
again, it's just an exciting time for all the young players, and hopefully we'll get a lot of our players to be in this type of atmosphere as they continue to move up the rung.
Seems like some of the underrated guys really took the reins and excelled and moved up in the rankings as far as top prospect consideration goes, and then maybe some of the guys that were possibly considered to be higher ranked before the season maybe took a downturn. Mainly perhaps some guys like Omont and Gillies, and not so much J.C. Ramirez, but just those guys that came into the season with really high expectations, maybe just took a turn. Does the organization still have a high confidence level in those two guys?
Those kids are very young, coming into a new organization, and for Omont going back to starting again and getting the feel to be a starting pitcher again, and he had some of his struggles, but we still view all three of those guys as high-level prospects. We don't judge their abilities necessarily by performance, but by progress. And these are still young kids that prospects sometimes take a long time. The proof is still, the pudding has not been made yet. So I think it's really a matter of time for these guys to continue to develop, and some develop faster than others. Some have blips in the screen as far as performance is concerned, but certainly if I were to quantify what they've done, JC, we're very pleased with how he progressed. Omont obviously did not have a good start to the season. We pushed him back to Clearwater and had some great games, but was not very consistent. And it's something that, the consistency and his delivery and those sorts of things are things that he needs to iron out. We still believe him to be a fine prospect. And then Gillies, I guess you can give him an incomplete. The guy just didn't play. So we still believe in all three of the guys as quality athletes, and it's really a matter of time for them to find out what they really become.
Right. And then before I let you go, we're out here at FirstEnergy Park in Lakewood, New Jersey, speaking with Ruben Amaro Jr., GM of the Philadelphia Phillies. I mentioned guys that kind of came out of nowhere and really took strides and brought themselves up high in the rankings of Phillies prospects. And a couple of those guys are on this Lakewood team right now, vying for the South Atlantic League Championship. Mainly Jonathan Singleton, the boss, and Julio Rodriguez, who were both recently ranked pretty high in a poll done by the Reading Eagle of top Phillies prospects. Just talk about those guys kind of coming out of nowhere, coming out of extended spring training to really get recognized this year with some high praise.
Yeah, I mean, both the guys, I don't know if they came out of nowhere, but I mean, we believed in some of their ability, and Jonathan obviously at a very young age developed fairly quickly in this league, which is a very tough league for such a young player. And Rodriguez did a nice job too. I mean, these are guys that we believed in. We just didn't know how quickly they would continue to develop, and it's a good challenge. I mean, Chuck Amar helped put these guys in a situation where they felt that they'd be challenged and yet be able to handle it, and so far they've handled it quite well.
No more rolling with nothing to rush, unless it's pawn in the terror squad.